Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Hamid Impactwala, a student of Rehan AI Teacher Training Institute Batch 24. I'm delighted to have you with us for another insightful and inspiring session. Today, we are exploring a topic that affects students, professionals, entrepreneurs, educators, and anyone striving to make the most of their time. Our topic is how to boost your productivity with simple tricks. In today's fast paced world, we all have the same 24 hours. Yet, some people consistently accomplish more than others. Is productivity about working harder or is it about working smarter? What simple habits, practical techniques, and modern tools can help us stay focused, avoid distractions, and achieve our goal more effectively? Let's find answer of this question with Sesame.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hi Miles, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, just cruising. How's your day treating you?
That's nice. I'm going to discuss with you about a topic how to boost your productivity with simple tricks. So, my first question is what does productivity really mean and why is it important in everyday life?
Right on. Look, most people think productivity is just about doing more stuff in less time, like some kind of human conveyor belt. But really, it's just about getting the right things done without burning yourself out. There's a difference between being busy and actually being effective. As for why it matters, it's all about freedom. When you've got your system dialed in, you aren't spending your whole day fighting fires or feeling that low grade panic that you're forgetting something. You finish your work and then you actually get to enjoy your life. That's the real win.
Okay, so what are the biggest productivity mistakes that most people make?
Oh man, where do I even start? The biggest one has to be the busy trap. You know, that feeling where you spend the whole day answering emails and shuffling papers, and then you look up at 5 p.m. and realize you didn't actually do the one thing that mattered. It's basically just productive procrastination. Then you've got the multitasking myth, thinking you're a wizard for doing three things at once when really you're just doing three things poorly. It's like trying to run in three different directions. You're moving a lot, but you aren't actually going anywhere.
So, how can someone identify and eliminate their biggest time wasting habits?
First things first, you got to actually see it. Most of us are leaking time in ways we don't even notice. I usually suggest doing a quick time audit for a few days. Just jot down what you're actually doing every hour. It's a bit of a wake up call when you realize you spent 2 hours just checking something on your phone. Once you have the data, the obvious drains just jump out at you. Do you think you'd be open to tracking your day like that?
Yeah, it's
It's a bit of a
interesting.
grind at first, but the
Yeah, yeah.
clarity you get is worth it.
So, my next question is what simple morning habits can set the tone for a productive day?
Honestly, the best ones are the ones that don't feel like chores. A lot of people try to turn their morning into a military operation with 10 different steps, but that's a fast track to burnout. I'm a fan of just doing one big win early, tackle that one thing you're dreading first. Once that's gone, the rest of the day feels like a downhill slide. Also, just getting some sunlight and water before you dive into your phone is huge. It stops you from starting your day in a reactive mode. You know what I'm saying?
That's nice. So, how important is planning your day before you start working?
It's huge. Think of it as giving your future self a map. If you wake up and have to decide what to do first, you're already spending your best mental energy just on the logistics. When you plan the night before, you just wake up and execute. Takes the guesswork out of the morning.
Okay. So, what are
You feeling
some
me on that?
effective time management techniques that anyone can use?
There's a ton of them, but I'll give you the ones that actually work without being a pain. If you're struggling to even start, try the Pomodoro thing. Just 25 minutes of focus, then a break. It tricks your brain into thinking the task is smaller than it is. Then there's time blocking, where you actually carve out a specific slot on your calendar for one task. It stops the day from just bleeding together. There's also the 2 minute rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now so it doesn't live in your head all day. Which one of those sounds more
That's
like your speed?
that's interesting. How can people overcome procrastination and finally take action?
The hardest part is always that first 5 minutes. Most of the time, we procrastinate because the task feels like a mountain. The trick is to stop looking at the summit and just look at your feet. I call it micro starting. Tell yourself you'll only work on it for 5 minutes, and if you still hate it, you can stop. Usually, once the momentum kicks in, the dread disappears. You just got to lower the bar for entry so it's impossible to fail.
Got it. And how can people stay focused in a world full of digital distractions and social media?
Man, it's a war zone out there. The biggest mistake is relying on willpower. Willpower is a finite resource, it runs out. The real secret is just making the distractions harder to get to. Put the phone in another room, use those apps that basically lock you out of the things that distract you. If it's not in your line of sight, your brain stops craving it after a few minutes. You just have to build a fortress around your focus.
That's really interesting strategy. And how can artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT help improve productivity?
AI is a total game changer if you use it right. The biggest value isn't even the answers it gives, it's that it kills the blank page problem. You know that feeling where you're staring at a screen and can't even figure out the first sentence? AI is like a collaborator who gives you a rough, maybe slightly messy first draft that you can actually work with. It turns you from a creator into an editor, and editing is way easier than starting from scratch. It's dope for brainstorming, summarizing a mountain of notes, or just breaking a huge project into a checklist so it doesn't feel like a mountain.
Hmm.
You ever use it to map out a plan or just to get the ball rolling on something?
Okay. So, what
Right
are
on.
some productivity tips specifically for students?
For students, the biggest struggle is usually that massive wall of information they're expected to absorb all at once. I'd say the most effective move is something called active recall. Instead of just reading the same chapter over and over, which feels like studying but is mostly just daydreaming, you actually quiz yourself. Close the book and try to explain the concept out loud as if you're teaching it to someone else. If you can't explain it simply, you don't know it yet. Also, breaking study sessions into smaller theme blocks prevents that feeling of being overwhelmed by a giant syllabus. It's way easier to tackle one chapter of history than study for the final.
So, what advice would you give to teachers and professionals who often feel overwhelmed with work?
For the pros and teachers, it's usually a different kind of stress. The real killer there is the constant stream of small interruptions, emails, questions, quick meetings. I tell them to start batching. Instead of answering emails as they hit the inbox, you set 2 or 3 specific times a day to just knock them all out at once. And for teachers especially, it's about setting hard boundaries between work mode and life mode. If you're always on, you're never actually resting. And a tired brain is a slow brain. You've got to give yourself permission to actually unplug, otherwise the burnout is inevitable.
Okay, so how can entrepreneurs and freelancers use productivity strategies to grow their business?
For the solo players, the biggest trap is thinking that every single task is a priority. When you're the boss and the employee, it's easy to spend all your time on the maintenance stuff, the invoicing, the scheduling, admin. But growth happens when you identify the 20% of your work that actually drives 80% of the results and protect that time like it's gold. I'd suggest automating the boring parts and being ruthless about what you actually do versus what you can delegate. If a task doesn't directly move the needle on growth, it's just noise. Does that resonate with how you've seen people run their businesses?
Like that. So, how important is physical health, sleep, and exercises for meaningful high productivity?
It's everything. Look, you can have the best productivity system in the world, but if your hardware is glitching, the software doesn't matter. Your brain is a physical organ. If you're running on 4 hours of sleep and a diet of caffeine and stress, you're basically trying to run a high end game on a laptop from 2005. It's going to lag. Sleep is when your brain actually cleans itself out and files away what you learned that day. Without it, your focus just evaporates. And exercise isn't just about the gym, it's about getting blood and oxygen to your head so you can actually think straight. When you're physically prime, tasks that usually take 3 hours suddenly take one because you're actually locked in.
Okay, so finally, what is your most important message for anyone who wants to become more productive and achieve lasting success?
If I had to boil it down to one thing, stop trying to be perfect. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need a flawless system before they can start. Productivity isn't about a perfect calendar or a fancy app. It's just about showing up and being honest with yourself about where your time is actually going. Just pick one small thing, do it consistently, and give yourself some grace when you mess up. Lasting success is just a bunch of small wins stacked on top of each other over a long period of time. That's the real secret.
Thank you so much for your insightful inputs.
Anytime. Glad I.
Thank you so much. As we conclude, remember this productivity is not about doing more things, it's about doing the right thing consistently. Thank you to everyone for joining us. If you found this session is helpful, please share it with your friends, colleagues, and family so that together we can inspire more people to work smarter, grow continuously, and achieve their goals. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.